Alright, audio good. It's going. Okay. Let's see. Move images in Blender. Oh, I wonder if Trey's played yet for the Wizards. I don't think so.
In this Blender tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can show different tools to move objects around. This is just a basic move tutorial. So in the basic scene, I can click this object and I'm in object mode. And so I want to move it around, and if I press G, it moves, but it just moves in all directions. If I press G, then I press a direction like Z. Now it'll only move in the Z direction, or if I press X, it'll only move in the X direction, or if I press Y, it'll only move in the Y direction. If I press G Shift X, now it'll only move in this plane here, or if I press G Shift Z, it's only going to move in the XY plane. So that's kind of convenient, but it can often be cumbersome to remember those keyboard shortcuts. So in Blender, we can go up to this menu in the top right that looks like a bow and arrow, and then I can turn on the
Start by finding a 2D image of what you're trying to model and download it. Now in Blender, press numpad 1 on your keyboard and go to a 2D view. Now press Shift A, Image, Reference, and locate your image. Scale it and move it around until it looks good. Now add in your mesh to trace.
Okay, this seems like what I'm looking for. Make sure. Get me a clean canvas.
View. Now press Shift A, Image, Reference, and locate your image. Scale it and move it around until it looks good. Start by finding a 2D image of what you're trying to model and download it. Now in Blender, press numpad 1 on your keyboard and go to a 2D view. Now press Shift A, Image, Reference, and locate your image. Scale it and move it around until it looks good. Now add in your mesh to trace the image. This is usually a cube, but it can be anything you want really. The trick is to extrude, bevel, loop cut, and move vertices around until your mesh perfectly aligns with the reference image. It takes some time and practice to get good at this, but once you do, being able to replicate models through reference image tracing will make 3D modeling 10 times as easy for you. You might have to fix a few proportions yourself since tracing can never be perfect, but overall it'll save you a ton of time and help you visualize an object's proportions way better. Start by finding a 2D image of what you're trying to model and download it. Now in Blender, press numpad 1 on your keyboard and go to a 2D view. Now press Shift A, Image, Reference, and locate your image. Scale it and move it around until it looks good. Now add in your mesh to trace the image. This is usually a cube, but it can be anything you want really. The trick is to extrude, bevel, loop cut, and move vertices.
I wonder if my reference image is going to help much with this guy right here. Okay, so there is a side view, so I think we'll be good on proportions of the head. So we got our body image kinda. You know what, this might be AI generated now I'm looking at it because it's different color pants. These are the same. Not sure. This is the reference image I have for the face. So we're going for more of like an anime thing, I guess. No, one thing at a time. Let's see. I don't think I'm fully understanding how
around until your mesh
In Blender 4.2 and later, the Import Images as Planes add-on is no longer a thing. Its functionality is built into Blender itself. Here's how we import images as planes now. There's no need for any add-on activation or to turn on any extensions. In object mode, press Shift-A to add a new object. You could also click the Add button in the top menu. Go down to Image and choose the option Mesh Plane. This is what Images Plane is called now. This will open a file browser just like the old add-on used to. We navigate to our image file, and there are several settings on the right of the file browser. The most important settings over here are probably this, and choose the option Mesh Plane. This is what Images Plane is called now. This will...
Okay, how to go to D in Blender. No numpad. I don't have a numpad on my keyboard. Oh, that's just not good for Blender. Edit preferences, input. Because my keyboard is... There we go. And then add. Mesh. No. Image. Reference. Pictures. Reference. Is that not a JPEG? I'm worried it's not a JPEG. You're a JPEG. Why you not? Rename. Dot. JPEG. You were a JPEG before. But now you're for sure a JPEG. So, let's see. Reference. No. Pictures? Reference. Haha! Okay. What I'm worried about is having two different... You know what, let's see. Model from reference Blender. Maybe I'd need a different reference image. Maybe that'd make things easier. You know what? Yeah, this might be what we need. Go look at my other reference image again. We want that like V shape on the face. We'll save this image for now. But I think I still prefer this kind of face. But let's see if I can find someone that mixes that together, like a different head model and a different body, and see if like somebody model character from reference. Let's see that. Let's do low poly character blender. Let's try that.
Hey everyone. Now, starting with the head, there are so many different ways you could go about this, but here I'm keeping things quite simple as I'm very much going for the head style of characters from Wind Waker, or going even further back to something like Mega Man Legends, where a lot of the facial features are drawn out in the texture rather than being modelled out. This keeps things pretty low poly, and it's just generally a style that I'm really fond of. I'm starting with a cube and adding a subdivision modifier to give us this nice spherical shape. I then apply that modifier before deleting half of our sphere shape .
This is an original character of mine, and the sketch is quite rough and loose.
Oh, I can do that. T pose anime male. There we go. Let's try this. See how they
Objects add-on.
It
Hey,
looks like
into-
he uses multiple
Hey, it's Brand.
images.
Today we're gonna go full anime. And I know last time we sculpted Goku and it looked pretty cool and all, but he looked like he belonged in a PS2 game. So the goal for today is we're gonna try and translate this 2D image to 3D. But in the end try to make it look like it's 2D and not 3D. This is my first attempt at something like this, so should be fun. So I would usually sculpt then retopo the head, but this time I wanted to try modeling this anime head the same way that I've seen it been done in a bunch of other time-lapse videos. So the basic idea is that we take a single vert and outline the front of the face, then outline the profile in side view. Then we model a circle around the eye and extrude it out. Same thing with the
I've done you a favor. Instead of making you model a low poly base from scratch, costing you hours of work, I've actually done it for you. In the description of this video there's a link to my Gumroad, where you'll find a download to this exact base for free. Whilst you're at it, feel free to download any of the other models I've uploaded. Oh, and thank you to the 2 people that did actually end up buying my models. I really appreciate it. Now, I could totally teach you how to model a low poly base from scratch, but that would make this video quite long and boring and... Alright, fine. I'm just too lazy to bother teaching you. You know, there's so many other videos out there probably teaching you all of this better than me. So, alright, let's start with the fun stuff. Download the model off of my Gumroad and import the FBX file. Make her whatever height you desire. I recommend you stay within the normal human range. Go to edit mode and select the vertices required to form a shirt. Shift D to duplicate whatever you selected and press P to separate by selection. Now you have 2 separate objects. This allows you to change the shape of the shirt and make it look more natural. You can always apply a mirror modifier to help you out.
Alright, that'll be good for clothes later. Oh, da 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 da. I guess I could do this. I just didn't want that stark of like a jaw, you know? I guess I don't have to do that, you know? I want to keep it like a little. Perf.
Do you want to take the anime girls from your imagination and bring them to life in 3D?
Ew.
If so, then you've come to the right place. Today I'll be sharing some process tips on how to create a character from scratch, all the way from a 2D reference to a 3D model. And if you're not good at one or the other, don't worry. I have some methods that help me consistently create characters even without a high skill level. Today we'll be creating a female face with a relaxed eye style. And since we're starting from scratch, let's start with the front-facing 2D reference. This type of reference is the most useful when it comes to 3D modeling. Usually all it takes is a good front-facing 2D reference to bring a character to life. So step 1, open up the drawing program of your choice. So here I've got Photoshop with a decently sized grid, and I'll create reference lines that are 4 high and 3 wide. And from the bottom corner I go up one and right one to this spot right here, and I draw a little curve there. Right in the corner of that square, and this is where the edges of the face will meet. So the face is just 2 lines. Boom, boom. The guidelines you made will give you the perfect angles for those lines. Just make sure it's a little concave, like facing outwards, not perfectly straight.
I already
Above
have
half
my
of the
image.
vertical
I don't
line,
need to
you can
draw
your ear.
her.
Here, I'm just gonna slightly adjust whatever doesn't feel right on both sides until it looks okay. So here's the difference. And if you follow so far, the gap between the eyes should be a little more than 1 eye width, which is usually a good measurement for aesthetics. Just one more little fine tune here. I'm gonna take the bottom half and slightly elongate it. And now that looks fine to me. Now as I finish off the head, which I actually should have done before I mirrored it, the tablet I'm currently using is a Huion Canvas Pro 13. Definitely an upgrade because the last tablet I was using is not even a display tablet. I know some people prefer a bigger size drawing tablet, but this feels like the right size for me in terms of both pixel density and also because one, I don't like tablet. Now let's work on the eyes, and I was trying to like mimic how in Genshin Impact they have some very unique designs. We're all good here. You go ahead and save it and import it into Blender as a reference image. We want to use the guidelines in Blender as well, so head over to this tab and check off the opacity. Let's line the jaw up to a 4x3 square just like earlier, and don't forget to go to this tab and change the color. So anyways, after we're all good here, we go ahead and save it and import it into Blender. The square, it goes out a little, but that's okay. So at this point, let's quickly draw some lashes. And now notice that the iris is an oval shape and the top half is cut off because the eyelid is partially closed. Now the crease of the eyelid, which is going to be a little bit higher. And for our eyebrows, we'll do a little downward sloping brow to give her that serious look. And then from the side, I just found the nose point for my reference. Loop cuts and 1.5 square perspective. Let's push these two D and from filmic to standard, and we want to use the guidelines in Blender as well, so head over to this tab and check off the opacity. Let's line the jaw up to a 4x3 square just like earlier, and don't forget to go to this tab and change the color management from filmic to standard.
I might just turn this guy down on speed.
Here. And don't forget to go to this tab and change the color management from filmic to standard. so that we can use the same colors. Now for the next step, yes, you can literally trace over the reference. There would be nothing wrong with that. I choose to model it. Sharing some process tips on how to create a character from scratch all the way from a 2D reference to a 3D model. And if you're not good at one or the other, don't worry, from the edit tab on the right, just like earlier. And don't forget to go to this tab and change the color management from filmic to standard so that we can use the same colors. Now for the next step, yes, you can literally trace over the reference. Now for the next step, yes, you can literally trace over the reference. There would be nothing wrong with that. I choose to model it side by side just because, you know, it's not a commission or anything, so it won't hurt to practice the hand-eye coordination a little. So here, let's mimic the jaw lines from the two.
No, that's not exactly. I was looking to like model from the reference photo. Oh. That's about all the time I have time for.